Hello and welcome to another episode of Death by Bunjie. This is a short video, but I just wanted to give you an update, you friends of Bunjie who might be wondering what I'm doing as far as hunting is concerned in the upcoming crossbow season. I spent the spring going back and forth through state game lands. You watched those videos, or at least some of you did, and I really had a great time, sometimes with my daughter, sometimes not with my daughter, going out there alone and scouting on the state game lands. Go get the car, will you?
No.
I came up with probably a dozen or so decent spots where I could try to ambush a nice whitetail this fall here in the Pennsylvania crossbow season. Since that time, a lot's happened. I mean, for one thing, we had the pandemic, right? I mean, that was kind of big news. In addition to that, the biggest news for me in 2020 was that my daughter, Genevieve, decided she wants to hunt. How cool is that? That's even bigger news than the fact that we bought a new house and I'm standing in the garage of our new house and you can see all of the garbage in this garage. You can see the old carpeting that we've torn out. We're going to recarpet the entire place. The carpet is coming next week. How awesome is that? We'll be ready to completely move in, move all my gear here and all that other stuff. I've been setting stuff up piecemeal, but it'll be nice to be finally moved in. My daughter, though, still, that's the biggest news to me because that totally changes my plans as far as Death by Bunjie is concerned. She is a brand new second generation crossbow hunter. How cool is that? I think that's pretty cool. But because of that, I really don't want to introduce her to Pennsylvania's crossbow season by hunting on state game lands. Now, hold on, there's a reason for that. I think if we go out there on the state game lands, that is tough, demanding hunting. That is more of an advanced form of hunting, at least in my way of thinking. This year, we actually have apples on the 100-year-old apple tree. Those of you who have read my book, The Death by Bunjie Crossbow Story, you know how amazing that is. What a complete and utter miracle that is. And I'm not even kidding. That's the most amazing news that you can imagine as a friend of Bunjie, right? At least to me, that's a big deal. For that reason, I think we've got a really good setup there, a tried, true, tested setup for shooting deer under that apple tree. I have shot many a doe under that apple tree, and if that apple tree has yet another deer hunting opportunity to give to my daughter, I'm taking advantage of that opportunity. So we will be starting the Pennsylvania crossbow season most likely under that 100-year-old apple tree. Those of you watching Death by Bunjie know that we also put in a food plot not far from that little tree. And for that reason, I'm hopeful that Genevieve and I will have an opportunity over that food plot as well. How cool would that be if she got to harvest a deer over a food plot that she helped put in?
Rich, I really would like you to do a video on you with your tree climber.
I did spend some time going up and down a tree with this thing. I have practiced with it a couple of times. I can tell you climber tree stands probably are not the best tree stand for me, but I haven't given up on it. Just because we're in the garage, where all the old carpeting is and where all the garbage is, and just because that climber tree stand is right here, don't worry. Don't worry. It's safe and sound. It's not going to get confused with the garbage when the dumpster comes. Don't worry about that. Not throwing the climber away. I have not given up on my plans of hunting on the state game lands. In fact, Genevieve and I have purchased doe licenses so we can actually hunt the state game lands and try and shoot a doe. We can hunt the state game lands and actually try to shoot a buck. We will have multiple options on state game lands. So this is my thought going forward, currently here in August, Crossbow Appreciation Month of 2020. Going forward, I expect that Pennsylvania's crossbow season will see Genevieve having hunting opportunities under the 100-year-old apple tree. And then more on that story coming, more on that story coming. Those of you reading the book are wondering, why are we talking about the 100-year-old apple tree? Those of you who haven't read the book are wondering, what's going on with the 100-year-old apple tree? What's wrong with it? So read the book, but more, and watch Death by Bunjie, because there's more coming on these stories. But I think we start the crossbow season there, but we just might end up on the state game lands. And even if that climber tree stand doesn't become part of the 2020 Death by Bunjie crossbow story, perhaps it will be part of a future episode just the same. Thank you for sharing this whole crossbow journey with me, this whole crossbow story. I hope your crossbow story and your crossbow appreciation month are shaping up just fine. I hope that you're getting ready for the upcoming crossbow season wherever you are. And until next time, all hail Bunjie.